So today I am doing the 5-star reading vlog, is that right? So I am going to try and pick a book and we're going to see when I can get a 5-star from that, if that makes sense. I feel like I explained that so badly. Okay, so basically, yeah, this vlog ends when I find a 5-star read. I have my TBR jar here to help me out. The only exceptions is I can't read rereads because, well, yeah, usually they're 4 5 stars anyway, so that's the only rule really, but otherwise all goes. So I'm going to give this a shake and see what we get. So I'm hoping I can get a 5-star. I don't know how long this is going to be. I'm hoping it won't be too long, to be honest, because that's a bummer to edit. I'm not going to lie. Anyway, let's shake it, baby. What have we got? Okay. I have The End of Men by Christina Sweeney Baird. So yeah, I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, anyway. That will be a Kindle read. I have no idea what that's about. The End of Men. I feel like that's something, is it dystopian about, I think it's literally how it sounds. I think it's a dystopian science fiction novel about the end of men. I don't know what else to say. I don't normally do science fiction, so I don't know why I've put that on there, but I think it was probably something that I saw on booktube and someone really enjoyed it and like really spoke highly of it, so I was like, you've sold me. I've got a horrible feeling this isn't actually going to be a 5-star. You know what, even better if it's a 5-star surprise. I love that, so I really hope it is. I predict, guys, I predict a 3 or 4 star for this actually. I don't know if it's going to be 5-star, but I think I will like it. I don't think I'll hate it, but anyway, you'll see. So when I finish reading it, I will update this vlog and let you know. I thought I would just pop on here because it's later in the day and I did forget to mention the date. So it is the 25th of July as I'm filming this, as I've started this vlog, so just bear that in mind because we're going to see how long it takes me to find a 5-star read. But I thought I'd pop on here because I'm 17% of the way through The End of Men, I think that's what it's called, and I got a lot to say already. This is about men dying because of a virus that only affects men and boys, you know, the male gender, the whatever you want to call it, right? It only affects them. I think there's like kind of 2 female characters in this and it kind of goes from their point of view. I think one's like an A&E doctor and I think the other is, I don't know, like a specialist in this kind of things, like a virologist, is that what you call it? Something like that. And the one woman, she's better than me because to be fair, she does have a young son, but I don't like her husband because they're going through IVF and because they want a second child, but she's a bit like, oh, I don't really know if I want a second child. You don't know what it's like, you know. I've struggled so hard. I feel like, you know, we've got our 1 kid, I'm happy. You know, they both would like a second child, but she's not as hung up about it as her husband, and she clearly is not that bothered. Like, she wants it to happen naturally and not go on IVF and all this blah blah blah. And like, I am just going to say this right now, I have all the sympathy for people that are trying to conceive that can't conceive naturally and all the rest of it, but her husband being a right prick about it, I'm sorry, leave him. I don't know, he's bugging me. Like, he's just like basically dismissing her feelings, and yeah, I just don't like it. I don't like him. He's not giving good vibes, and he's not horrible, but he's not exactly very supportive, I don't find. Oh yeah, that was it. He said, I remember now, it's coming. So he said something along the lines of, oh well, you know, it really does affect me. Like, I'm the one that's going to have to go through this predominantly. And I think she's on about the pregnancy and the IVF, right? And he's just like, oh, we're both going through it. Sorry. Are you
carrying the baby, sir? Are you carrying the baby? Are you carrying it? No.
Really? Almost nearly DNF'd, nearly. And I don't even DNF, and that just pissed me off. But he did kind of save grace later, because then he kind of realised he fucked up. She was the one that was like, oh no guys, there's a pandemic and all the men are being killed off. Oh no, what should we do? She's a better person than me, because if I knew there was a pandemic that killed all men, I'd be like, oh, that's a shame. Whenever I film these, I always hear my neighbours, and it's just like, it's because at the moment as well, we're in British summer, so everyone has their windows open, and it's just like, I can hear them, they can hear me. Obviously the whole men thing, I'm joking, kind of. There's this bit that really annoyed me, and I was just like, what? Right, okay, I'm just going to read it to you, and you make your mind up about this, okay? Because this is what the character says. I'm going to read it. I've got my Kindle, I'm reading it out to you. I've been booked into a horrible hotel on Euston Road. It's called a Premier Inn. Based on the photos online, there's a lot of purple in their interior decoration, and I'm going to leave it at that because it's too depressing for words. I don't know if this is meant to show that she's like really rich or whatever, and like she just doesn't get premierings, and what, you always booking yourself in the Savoy or something. I don't know what is that, what it's meant to do, because if it is, fine, when I read on maybe it'll explain that. But I'm like, I read that and I had to read it 3 times, like, what, am I missing something? Is this meant to be like a bad premiering? Because I know not all premierings are nice, but I've stayed at a premiering, they're okay. I mean, yeah, okay, they're not the luxury thing of, you know, everyone knows that, they're just a bog standard hotel, but they're never bad. I mean, you can get bad ones, but generally they're just fine. If you don't know what the Premier Inn is, but I just realised some people might be watching this who aren't from the UK. The Premier Inn is a chain of hotels in the UK, and they're just bog standard hotels. Like, they're not awful, they're just budget friendly, they're just, I don't know how to describe it, they're just fine. They're just a room with a bed, TV, I think you get free Wi-Fi, you sometimes get breakfast. It's just fine, shower obviously, all that stuff. It's nothing fancy, but it's fine. And she's like, oh, a Premier Inn. You're in a fucking pandemic and you're moaning about your hotel room. And it's not even like, okay, I could understand it if it was like cockroach infested. It's a fucking Premier Inn. Be grateful. Like, Jesus. I don't know with this book, guys. It's kind of 2-star. Let's be like,
probably like a 4-star.
I think I need to keep, I want to keep on because it is interesting. The premise is interesting. I am interested. I'm interestingly offended by this book so far. So is that a thing? I'm going to keep going. I'm going to soldier on. I don't actually DNF books. It's a toxic trait I have. I just thought I'd come on to say that because I just thought I'd update you because it's the 27th of July today. I had to double check that. And yeah, so last night I reached 50% through. What do I think of it so far? I've got to say, actually, it has improved slightly. I'm thinking more along the lines of a 3-4 star though. It's not something that's really like, oh my god, I'm loving this, but it is like, it's interesting, it's keeping me going. The conversation around what would happen if men basically were dying off is very interesting, and actually what the implications of that would be. The only problem I have with this, and I think this is just more of a me thing, anything to do with like pandemics or like COVID stuff, and although it's not COVID, at the start of the book the author does say that her inspiration was around the COVID pandemic, because I believe the book came out in, I think, after COVID. Well, it must have been after COVID. So yeah, I think the author said that that's where her inspiration for the book came from, and I personally struggle with things like that. Like, I don't like hearing anything about COVID or the pandemic. I lived through it. I just don't really want to relive it. It wasn't a particularly great time for me and most people in the world. In fact, probably everyone I could bet my life on. It can be a bit triggering for me actually, but I'm powering through, and actually it's not that bad. Like, it's obviously not COVID, but anything kind of pandemic-y, like I said, I just struggle with. Saying that though, I don't mind apocalyptic type things where you're having to like try and survive, and humanity is basically, or society as we know it, is basically collapsed. That's kind of weirdly okay for me, but I don't like the kind of build up to the pandemic. They're calling it in this book the plague, which is quite interesting. But yeah, so I thought I'd just update you with that. The plan for the rest of the day is maybe go and see the in-laws later for dinner, but I don't know yet if I'm definitely doing that because I am not feeling particularly great today. I'm not going to go into details, but yeah, I don't know if we're doing that. But yeah, that's it really. Yesterday, me and Andy planned for doing stuff around the house. I just feel like that's our life usually, is just planning stuff around the house. But anyway, I will keep you guys updated as always. So yeah, hopefully I'm hoping to finish it either today or tomorrow. That's the goal. Like I said, I don't see it being a 5-star. I don't know, like I said, it could surprise me. It could end up being a 5-star, but I usually know pretty early on if a book's going to be 5 stars. Like, usually, not always, but usually. Sometimes it can surprise me, but I don't know, like I can usually tell, and I just find so far it's not giving me a 5-star. So I feel like this vlog is going to be very long, but we keep going. Listen to this, okay? So there's these 2 women, and one of them has kids and one of them doesn't, and obviously one of them is more affected by the plague. I don't know how to say this, but just this made me laugh. I don't snap or lose my temper. I know exactly what I'm about to do and I'm not proud of it. It's not going to be my finest moment, or actually, maybe it is. If I'm being really honest, Susan is lucky I don't punch her repeatedly in the mouth. I get up from the table, take her coffee cup out of her hand and pour the glass of water I've been drinking over her head in such gloriously slow motion I can see her expression shift from bland surprise at the absence of her coffee to disbelief to total horror at the cold and the wet. Go fuck yourself, Susan, and while you're at it, get the fuck out of my house. The joy of saying those words I've cradled at the back of my tongue for years is particularly sweet. That's brilliant. That is brilliant. That in itself deserves 5 stars. I love that, because she doesn't, they're in the army or something, and they're army widows, wives, but obviously both their husbands have died, and she can't stand her, and it's just so funny. I had to share that, guys. By the way, I'm 57% through now, so nearly 60%. But yeah, I just thought that was brilliant. Love it. So I've just finished reading The End of Men by Christina Sweeney Baird. So I had to check my Kindle then. Baird, I said that's Scottish. I think she is Scottish actually, the author. It is about a pandemic that happens where all men basically die out. Now, some are immune from this. I really liked this more than I thought I was going to. I didn't love it, but it was good. Like, I did find that the writing was really good. I did find it believable. I thought the pacing was really well done. My only kind of criticism is that I just couldn't really relate to any of the characters. There were a few sprinkled in that I quite liked, and that, I feel weird saying that because it's not necessarily a bad thing. That doesn't make it necessarily even a bad book, but there was just something with me. I think it was very personal with me. I had just mentioned previously that I do struggle with pandemic-y type things. I don't know why. I was starting to think, why did I put this on my TBR? But I think it was just because when I saw this, I can't remember how I ended up putting it on my TBR, but I think it was something, or someone on BookTube had really spoke highly of this. I thought it was more of like an apocalyptic type situation, but no, it wasn't. I mean, it does go quite close to that in parts, like the pandemic, but it wasn't really like that. I thought it was more that side of it, but it was more kind of like how they dealt with that and how they're dealing with it. And yeah, I liked it because it puts things into perspective. Like, I know I kind of joke about like, oh yeah, no men left, that'd be great, like everything would be utopia, and like, yeah, but actually it does put things into perspective, like, oh, actually how much we would have to like, I said, not step up, but like, I don't know, it's weird. Like, it's things that I would never have thought of before. The reality of that would be kind of weird, and it would be very kind of like, what happens now? Yeah, I still think it would be a better version than the other way around if all women died off or were dying. And yeah, I'm sorry, but I still think it would be a better type of scenario. But yeah, it did leave some interesting ethical questions. I ended up giving it a 3 stars, but more of like a high 3 stars, if that makes sense. So, you know, I was and ahhing between a 4 star, but I think for me, it was the characters that were kind of a problem for me. I just couldn't quite get on board with some of the characters. There was this one character who had already had a child, a son, through IVF, and he was very young when he died. And then she'd already lost her husband, and then she wanted to have kids again. And I was just like, I don't know, she was talking about all this thing of like how she just wants to be a mum so bad. And there was a lot of women in these books that desperately wanted to be mums. As a person that is child-free and doesn't really plan to have kids, I don't really relate to that. But although I can sympathise with it, I don't relate to it. And I think if you're I don't know, guys, call me out here, but I just feel like if you're going through something quite traumatic, such as a plague, I just think that would be last on your mind, is desperately becoming a mum. But it's interesting, isn't it? Because if part of the population is dying off, men, well, you'd want to repopulate, wouldn't you? I guess. Maybe some of you would, I wouldn't. But you know what I mean? Some people might want that. And yeah, it is interesting. It makes you think a lot. And like, I am thinking about it in ways that I would have never thought about it. And, you know, and then you hear about, in the story, they talk about men being pregnant. Wow. Women being pregnant and then finding out they have a boy, and then 9 times out of 10, the boy's not surviving. So almost immediately after they give birth, they die, which is obviously really, really sad. And yeah, and then a lot of them don't want to know the sex of the baby, so then they have the baby and it's like, oh, it's a girl, thank God. And then, but it's also like, oh, it's a girl, like, oh, because there's not enough men. And yeah, it's so interesting. I suppose the other would be true, but in a weird way, I think it would be more dangerous the other way around if women were killing off, because then we'd be almost forced to have kids, wouldn't we? And yeah, it would be a whole thing. I don't really want to go down that route. I think my main problem was it was pandemic-y, and that was never going to ride well with me. I thought it was more apocalyptic than pandemic-y, if you know what I mean. I hope I've explained that right. I don't think I have, I'm not sure, but it reminded me too much of COVID and it was a little bit triggering in parts. It did actually make me tear up as well, I must say. It did make me tear up. It did get a little tiny tear. So yeah, if you're someone like me that struggles with reading about pandemics and stuff, I would say don't read this because it's not really the kind of book I think I thought it was. Anyway, so I have my TBR jar here, so I'm going to choose my next read. Hopefully it's a 5-star. So this is Entangled by Harley Beck. Now, I think from memory, Harley Beck, I have read from her before. I say her, it could be a guy, I don't know. I should say them. I have read from them before. They are a dark romance writer, and I think I usually give about 3 or 4 stars. I don't think I've read a 5-star book from them. I could be wrong. I don't know what I've read. What have I read? I've definitely read something. So this is dark romance then, Entangled. I presume, I don't know. But yeah, that's my next read. I predict that to be 4 or 5-star, but then I thought about this one. Oh no, this one I think I did predict 3 or 4 stars. So yeah, that's my next read. Hopefully it's a 5-star, because at the moment I feel like this is going to be a very long vlog. Sorry about that. So sorry about my appearance. I've just had a shower. It's about, I think it's about 6:30 in the morning. And it's the 28th of July and I'm reading Entangled by Harley Beck. And I didn't realise this, but it's actually a novella. I don't normally read novellas, but I started now. That's it. Anyway, I'm about 57% through. Am I liking it is the question. Yes and no. I did, and now I'm not liking it as much. What's it about? Okay, let's give a bit of context. So this is about, I don't know, where did I find this? I think what it is, sorry, I need to explain my reasoning for this book because I think what it is, I have read from this author before and I did like her works, and I think, you know, when you really like 1 or 2 books from an author, you put it all on, you put all their TBR on there, all their backlist, whatever. So I've been doing that, and this just popped up. Like I said, didn't realise it was a novella. I don't normally read short stories, novellas, whatever, it's not really my thing. This is weird. It is dark romance, so just bear that in mind. I don't even know if it's romance. I think it's like an erotica. So this woman in the book, well, she's not a woman, actually. She's a minor. What is her name? Willow, that's it. Her name's Willow, and she's 17, but she's going to be 18 next week. And the book and the author like to remind you of that. She's going to be 18 next week. Okay, but she's still 17. And her friend, her best friend since childhood, Chloe, has just died. Wow, she hasn't died. She's gone missing. They don't know what's happened to her. Now she's so she lives across the road from her friend, right? And her friend lives with her dad, and her mum went missing. So her friend's mum went missing. So it's just a dad alone. So yeah, it's dad's best friend. It's best friend's dad romance, right? Which I didn't know she was kind of a minor, so that's a problem, first of all. But this is the bit where I'm just like, okay, disbelief suspended, like disbelief out the window, out the fucking door, all the way out to the galaxy now, because that's one thing, but they've just gone to this candlelight vigil, got back, and are just like, yeah, you know what I mean, right? And I'm like, this is the first time they've been like intimate sexually, and I do get that this is a short novella, so you know, the author's having to like quick, and this is my problem with it. I feel like if it was a longer book, I would probably actually quite like this, and if it was, you know, slow burn, it would make sense. And you know, it's got to be somewhat realistic. If you're gonna do that, handle it sensitively. Already she's calling him daddy, and yeah, and he's fine with this. He's like, yeah, I knew she'd have a daddy kink. I'm like, what the hell, like what? It's really uncomfortable because he's like this. I don't know how much I can say on YouTube with this, because like straight in there he's like,
you think teenage boys can lick you this good?
Yeah, this is going to be a 1-star. I was quite liking the beginning. The first like literal like 50% was actually not too bad. Now they're starting getting into the, you know, the smut. It's not good. It is just straight up, but it makes no sense. There's been no build up. There's been a little bit, but it needs to be more, especially with a relationship like that, if you can call it a relationship. I just thought, guys, if I've got to read this and so have you. I'm trying to think of it in a kind of real life scenario, and I just think you've just lost your daughter, you lost your wife not long ago, she's gone missing, and your daughter's gone missing now. Oh, I think she has died. Do you know what? I can't even fucking remember. Yeah, I think they have found her body and her ex or her boyfriend was responsible or something. I don't fucking know. The book doesn't really care about it, so why should I suppose. Yep, don't think this is going to be a 5-star somehow. So it's not even shy of about 8 a.m. and it's still on the 28th of July, by the way, and I've just finished Entangled by Harley Beck. 1 star. What a fucking mess that was. That was awful. Oh, and by the way, if you want to know what happened at the end, she killed Chloe. Well, I don't know if she actually technically killed her, but the main character, Willow, killed Chloe and Chloe's mum just to get with Mr. Reed, her dad. I literally read that and went, fuck off. It was weird because like literally the first, I'd say, couple of pages were actually quite good. Like I actually was quite invested. I thought, okay, maybe this is going somewhere. And it literally just went crazy, like stupid crazy. And the author keeps wanting to remind ourselves that, you know, she turns 18 next week or like in 3 weeks time. And there was a bit in the book where so her friend's dad, who's middle-aged, they keep saying middle-aged, I don't know exactly how old that is, I'm presuming is 50s, that to me is middle-aged, but I don't know. But on the day of her actual birthday, so she turns 18, he's suddenly like, oh, it's fine, it's legal now, I can do what I want. And I'm like, you mean like you have been doing? He's been grooming her. He groomed her. And he groomed her as soon as his fucking daughter went missing. Who does that? And I get, like, it was kind of not really even explained. I just made the presumption it's because he's grieving. And not that that's an excuse, by the way, but that he's grieving and he's confused and all this other stuff. But she's 17. She's a minor. Like, if you're going to do a subject like that is sensitive and forbidden and taboo and illegal and, you know, has massive ramifications for the victim and even for that guy himself, I just think you need to handle that sensitively. Yeah, okay, it's a dark romance. I wouldn't even call that dark romance. I think it's just straight up erotica, if you even call it that. I will say the smut was kind of good, but I was so turned off because she was calling him daddy during, you know, the acts, let's just say that, and it was like straight away. And like, you build to that, surely. Like, even people in normal relationships would build to that, right? I don't know, guys. It was just yeah, it was awful. 1 star. I did think, oh, this could maybe be a 4-star, 3-star maybe, when I first started reading it. And then when I saw where this was going, like I said, I really need to check author's backlist. Actually, note to myself, because it kind of was my own fault. Really loud. There's a plane. I think it's a plane. Oh, and there was another scene where so he drives her out to this like secluded wooded area to, you know, do the stuff, you know what I mean, and he wears a mask, right? And she's like, oh,
why are you wearing the mask? Oh, kinky.
And then it's crazy. It's just a fucking crazy book. And then this guy, don't know how old he is. I don't think it matters, because I think at this point she's still a minor anyway. Even if she's not, it's still weird. Like, she's 18 and he's like 40, 50 something. It's weird. But anyway, this random guy just pulls up and is like, oh, like what you're doing there, can I watch? And just, you know, proceeds to watch, if you know what I mean. And they're like, yeah, sure. It's just so odd. It's so weird. It's so odd. And, you know, I get it. It's meant to be a bit out there. It's meant to be forbidden. But like, it's like I said, I cannot stress this enough. If you're going to do that kind of thing, I can get on board with it, but like only if you handle it somewhat sensitively. The kind of smutty scenes, okay, fine. But again, it has to be built up. It has to be handled somewhat sensitively. There was none of that. There was absolutely zero. And because of that, I have to give it a 1 star. And really it's 0 stars, but obviously it demands a rating on Goodreads. So yeah, it was not done sensitively. The only tiny thing, like I said, that was good was the smut. The actual smut scenes were not bad. However, because I was constantly reminded that he was a lot older than her, like massively so, and she was only 17, they did play into that. And that was almost like a I don't know what you call it, like a thing for them. Your daughter is her age, and like I wasn't believing it. He just lost his daughter, like she's missing, she's lost. He's straight up like, yeah, let's fuck her best friend. Like no, like and he's known her as well since because they grew up together, like best friends together. None of it made sense. It was just a hot mess. It wasn't even hot, it was just a mess, actually. It was just a mess. It wasn't even a hot mess, it was just straight up a mess. Harley Beck, you know, I have read 1 or 2 books from you which have been good, but this is not it. It's awful. 1 star. and that's being generous. Anyway, with that, let's hopefully get a 5-star read now. This is going to be such a long, it's going to be such a long vlog. Oh my god. Okay, so we have Black Cake by Charmaine Wilkerson. I remember putting this on my TBR. I don't know a lot about it. I just know that it's fiction, I think. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. I don't have that'll be on my Kindle as well. I don't have a physical copy of that. I'm going completely blind here. So yeah, I can't predict anything because I don't know. But yeah, so far, is it 8 AM yet? Nearly. And I've read the most disturbing, messed up, smuttiest, horrible book. Come on, this needs to be a 5-star, or at least a 4-star. I've noticed lately my reads tend to be averaging, and it's just it puts me in a slump when I've been reading a lot of 3-star books, and now this has just gone to 1 star. So it's like, please let me have a 4-star at the very least. You know, a 5-star would be, yeah, I can end the vlog, great, and I can film something else. Let's see how it goes. I really hope. Come on guys, let's do that 5-star energy. We need it desperately. So it's later on in the evening. It's about 8 o'clock, I think. I have reached 32% of the way through Black Cake, and I thought I would update you. I didn't realise that this was actually a TV series. It's been now made into a TV series on Disney Plus, so yeah, I might watch that. I don't have Disney Plus, but there are ways, if you know what I mean. It's set in the 60s to present day. 2 siblings, their brother and sister. They're an African-American family, so they do live in America, but I think their family is the family from one of the Caribbean islands, I believe. But they've kind of been sort of all over the place. I think there was a bit where they lived in the UK. They haven't really gone into that yet, but anyway. And their mum's just recently died. Their siblings are estranged from each other, and one of the siblings, I believe, was estranged from the mum as well. And she leaves them, obviously, the estate, and part of the estate, the lawyers or solicitor, whatever you want to call them, is with them. And she left like an audio recording to talk to them about her life. I don't know how to describe it. It's a very kind of different book, and it's very like, yeah, so at the moment that's what's happening. I'm sorry, I'm not explaining that very well, but that's what's happening. They're kind of listening to her story. They've just found out they have this sister that they don't know about, and it's exploring that. Really interesting. So obviously the siblings don't get along, and it's kind of going through why that is. I really like it so far. I like I said, I don't love it, but I don't hate it. It's wrote really well, written, whatever. Its pacing is a little bit slow, so that's where I think I'm getting a bit, because, you know, pacing's quite a big thing for me. It's not painfully slow, but it's slow. I would say it's slow. I mean, some people might not think that. But yeah, I like it. It's definitely different to anything I've read before. Well, to most things I've read before. Kind of got the reason why it's called Black Cake. So in the Caribbean islands, there is a cake called Black Cake. And I think they make it with like rum and like fruits and things, and you know, it doesn't sound like my type of thing. I don't tend to like that kind of cake thing, but apparently it's very popular. And yeah, and they make it together, her and her daughter, and they have done every year apart from when they fell out because the daughter is gay. I think she's actually bi, but yeah, anyway, regardless, the parents don't agree with it, and yeah, it's good. There's a lot about it's definitely big themes on family drama, family dynamics. That's a huge theme in this, and that's probably why I put this on my TBR, because I do tend to kind of like that sort of stuff. But yeah, I am kind of liking it. I don't know if it's going to be a 5-star. It's very relatable. The stuff with the siblings is almost eerily relatable, accurate to what I have been through. It's very strange. Every time I film, there's a police siren, there's birds going crazy, there's a plane that starts going off, there's always loads of noise. I could be sat here, I've sat here for like an hour reading, and there's barely any noise, and as soon as I start filming, but yeah, anyway, sorry, I'm moving the quality's not very good, I'm just straight up vlogging this from bed. So once I reach the sort of halfway mark, I will update you again and see how we get on. Today is the 29th of July, and I said I would come back on here to update you once I reached halfway. So I've just reached just over halfway, and my heart, that's all I've got to say, my heart. So we are learning now about the backstory of the mum. So I don't know if I explained this very well in my last clip, but she is the mum who has died, and my god, her life is like, whoa, like, I don't know, it's all family drama. It's just so, I don't know how to describe this. It's just so like, there's a lot going on in this. And she's hid this from her 2 children. Now we're finding out she has another child. Now we're finding out how that child was conceived. Now we're finding that she's reunited with the person that she wanted to be with all her life. And oh my God, so she's now in the UK and she's just seen the daddy, right? So like the actual dad of them, I presume that's who it is. There was a scene where she spotted somebody that she used to know from the Caribbean that she was madly in love with and vice versa, and he went to London to study. He's really like academic and stuff, and she saw him across the street and she's been pining for him for like ages and ages and ages, but he believed her to be dead. Long story, I don't want to go all into it because that's a whole other thing. And they always hoped that they'd see each other. Now this was back in the 60s, so obviously didn't really have phones. Well, they did, but not like, you know, what we have today. He just presumed she was dead, and she sees him across the road, but at first she's like, oh, it's just, and then she's kind of like, oh, you know, like there he is, and she almost like, she shouts out to him. He at first doesn't quite believe it, and oh my God, it's so good. There's traffic and he thinks he's hallucinating. Oh my God, I was about to cry. I really want to watch the TV series now. I really want to watch it. Might have to become a pirate and watch that, if you know what I mean. Apparently, like I said, it's been cancelled after series 1, so I don't know. Guys, let me know if you've watched this. Let me know if it's worth watching, or if you've read this even. Could this be a 5-star? I don't know. I don't know. I think there's just something slightly missing. I'm not sure, but it's so relatable. It's so heartfelt. I'm loving it. I'm loving the culture. I'm loving I am actually really liking it. And the drama, the freaking drama. Want more, give me more. As you can tell, I'm liking this, and thank God, because that fucking book I read before, absolute garbage. Obviously update you if there's anything else to say, and if not, you will get the end review, which hopefully, I'm hoping it's getting very close to a 5-star. I wasn't like too sure at first. I should stop doing that, really. I should stop like trying to rate it quite early on, but I can't help myself. I'm like, oh, I usually know. That's what I usually know early on. So yeah, we'll see. I'm coming on here to tell you I finished Black Cake by Charmaine Wilkerson. Well, I actually finished it on the Wednesday. It's now Saturday, so I finished it on the 30th of July. It's now Saturday. I didn't film it straight away just because I wasn't really, let's just say I had a bit of a bad day. I won't go into it. 5 stars. It's more on the lower end of a 5-star, not quite a full 5-star, if that makes sense. But yeah, I still loved it. I couldn't not give it a 5 stars. Like when I was writing down what I didn't like so much about it, I was struggling, like really struggling. So I'll give you a little bit of a brief thing of what it's about. So a woman dies and she leaves her kind of estate, her legacy to her 2 children who are brother and sister. They don't get on, the daughter doesn't get on with the mum, or at least didn't get on with the mum while she was alive. And then they find out that they have this other sister, and it's so much more than that. I'm giving you a very, very basic thing. And part of the thing is that she tells her siblings about her life and how she ended up where she is today. So the mum is from the Caribbean islands originally, and it just tells you about how she got where she is today, because they live in America now, but they did live in the UK for a bit, and it's just so interesting. So just, yeah, I did tear up in places in this book. It didn't give me full on sob, but there were a bit where it's like, oh, you did something there. I would highly recommend this. I do really want to watch the TV series, even though it is only 1 series apparently, and then I think they cancelled it after a series. So we have themes of forgiveness and family, and that's like quite a heavy theme. We also have culture, we have feminism, environment and nature, and it's just so many themes wrapped into it. And that was sort of my problem with the book at the same time, because although I loved that and I loved to see that, it was a little bit like, pick a theme. It was all just in there. I don't know, there was a lot going on, but it didn't feel overwhelming. That's where the book really held itself, because it didn't feel overwhelming. It didn't feel like, whoa, okay, I get what you're trying to say here. It didn't feel like that at all. It was all woven in really well, at least I thought it was. Yeah, and like I said, the themes were a little bit on the nose sometimes, but that was my only criticism I could really take from this. And I think if that's the only criticism I can find, then you've done really well. The characters were done really well. The writing was just beautiful. Like I said, sometimes, I think I said this in my other clip, but sometimes it sort of sounded like poetry, the way the writer was kind of describing stuff and like taught, and like the point of views. And I just pacing also was really good, and that's also very important for me. It didn't drag. It didn't feel like it had been rushed. It was just brilliant. It was just, yeah, you believed these characters, you believed the story. There were times where I was like, ooh, oh, I don't know if that would happen in real life. It kind of quickly told you why it did. Yeah, just beautiful. I love the culture. I loved the kind of, yeah, like where they're from and how that still impacts them. And it's just, I don't know what it was, because like it's one of those books where like so much happens, but yet like you don't feel like it does from chapter to chapter, but actually it does. Like when you look back, you're like, whoa, she just, yeah, it's like when they're talking about the present day, it's not as like, I don't know what the word is, it's not like as, like there's still stuff going on, but it's like not as intense as when she's telling her story. And I really don't want to, I know this channel is predominantly like, I say, oh, I give spoilers, but actually for this one, I feel like I don't want to give too much, because it is kind of like, it's one of those books I think you just have to go in completely blind. But yeah, I just absolutely loved it. And there we go, 5 stars. I did it, I got it, finally. I was like, yeah, I had to really think about this, but because I could find little to no flaws with this book, I had to give it a 5 star, and I really did enjoy it. I will say, and I did just touch upon it, as I really did like the female friendships in here, especially the one between, I think, Covey, and I can't remember the other character's name. Etta, I think it was, I can't remember, but yeah, I really love that. Just great themes in this book, brilliant themes, all woven in so nicely. And would I want to read from this author again? I'm not sure. I did look at some of her other titles, and I gotta be honest with you, nothing's really screaming out at me, but I'm like, you know what, if I see it in a charity shop or something, then, or like, you know, borrow it or whatever, or it's going free, then I might indulge. But I've got to be honest, when I have looked at her other stuff, I'm like, I don't know if that really appeals to me. It healed something in me reading this. Like I said, I did find some of it quite relatable, especially the sibling stuff. Weirdly, I could see this book being a sequel. I don't think it needs like loads of other, but I could see it becoming like another sequel, and I would be interested to see a sequel, actually. I would. Yeah, and how like the siblings move on, and yeah, it's just, or maybe that would kill it, I don't know. I did it. Thank you so much for watching, and this actually has been kind of fun, and I would like to do this again. So if you want to see me do this again and again and again, and you want to torture me, then yeah, let me know down below. Like, always let me know, speak to me. I want to be spoken to. No, I'm kidding, but yeah, no, speak to me, comment, like, interact, because I love all that, and I will try and like engage and do all that. And you know, I'm hoping to build a community here. I'm still kind of a new channel, but I am hoping to like build a book community. Thank you so much, guys, and I hope you have a really good day.